So Instagram is actually really, working out really well for me.
Right, I think I have everything I need.
Basically, I got the date wrong on the big meat-free Monday board that I think was at the end of the last video. So I've got to go back and correct that at the pub. So it's kind of another wet, drizzly drive, but I've just got like so much happening at the minute, and it's going to take like an hour to drive there and back. So I'm a bit frustrated. That's going to eat into my day, but it was my fault getting the date wrong, and I need to go and correct that as soon as possible, really. So I'm going to do that, update the web graphics as well, and then sorry, I'm trying to think and do stuff at the same time, and then come back and then kind of crack on with the work that I had scheduled today, which was the design cuts, because I'm already a bit more behind than I would like to be on that. And I've also had a call and inquiry from sort of an acquaintance of mine who wants to do maybe some animated chalk lettering, and it's kind of an urgent project, so I said I'll get back to him about that. But I've got to go, right, got to get the stuff together. It's got to nearly 3 o'clock in the afternoon already, and the day has just completely run away with me. The story of my life. But I had like a lot I wanted to try and fit in today, but I had to drive over to Tetbury, which is like an hour's round trip, because I'd written the wrong date on the recent menu board that I did for them. So obviously I needed to go and correct that as quickly as possible to try and redeem the fact that I'd made a rather embarrassing mistake, and subsequently correct the sort of where there were other errors as well. So the actual menu, printed menu, and some of the graphics are online and on Instagram. So that was a rather embarrassing start to the day, but I kind of learned the lesson how to obviously really be careful with checking things like dates, and hopefully I've redeemed myself slightly by kind of going out of my way and making sure it was fixed as quickly as possible. So moving on from that, I've now got to do some work on this pre-painted chalkboard that was dropped off to me by a gentleman who runs a cafe who saw the stuff that I'd done for Upper Lock. So it's been really nice. Like Instagram is actually really, working out really well for me in terms of actually sharing work, because I guess a lot of the local cafes will kind of follow each other for either support or just keeping an eye out on the competition. So that's been going really well. So I'm going to make sure I use Instagram pretty solidly as part of my marketing. But the main thing I need to do is this is the brief I've been given. So we've got River Cafe and a list of the lovely things they do, like homemade cakes and cream teas and artisan coffee. And they also want some Japanese writing at the bottom as well, because although I specify on my website that I also offer Japanese translation and I can write Japanese, and I specifically mention that because one, as an ulterior motive, I'd like to practice my own Japanese, but two, this area is it's really popular with Japanese tourists, and it's a nice kind of way of saying to business as well, it's really appreciated if you write something in your visitor's language, because obviously it'll get their attention, and tourists are renowned for spending a lot of money, so it might help their business as well. They asked that because they saw that I'd written some Japanese script on some work that I did for the Upper Lock, their sort of multilingual welcome board. So that's worked out really well, and as I start adding a few more things like that to my portfolio, that's something I can hopefully develop and push further as well. But first thing I've got to do is get a draft design drawn out and emailed across to them, and then once that's approved I can make a start on this. A lot of stuff to fit in, and it's a bit stressful. In fact, it's very stressful, but it's kind of just because I'm not used to it. It's nice to be this busy. It's nice to have the motivation that I'm going away on a short holiday soon, so I really want to get as much done as possible before that, so that I can actually relax. I'm spending too much time talking rather than working now, so I'm going to make a start on this drawing and sort of get the ball rolling on this one, and just see how much of the rest of the day I can kind of salvage to get ahead a little bit. Right.
あ、もしもしお母さん？うん、すいません。ちょっと聞きたいことがあるんだけど、Right, I think I have everything I need for an afternoon of drawing flourishes, I guess.
It's all going like a rocket and it's a huge success overnight, or people who are successful, people who are, you know, the absolute big names.
Just bought this massive trunk for quite a bargain price with the idea of trying to do some sign writing or painting on it, and I just realised that actually I think it'd make quite a nice texture background for the chalkboard pack as well, sort of this kind of navy blue with a really lovely aged look, so that might be quite cool.